Everything was changing. Suddenly, I was thrust into a world I didn't understand, overwhelmed by emotions I'd never experienced. Like a newborn child, I was emotionally helpless, yet I possessed the power to cause mass destruction. It had been months since I had last seen Maya, since that first physical touch, when our energies began to merge, creating an invisible bond that still connected us across time and space. When I returned to Earth, I watched and learned instead of resuming my search for my kin. I invisibly observed the humans around me, studying and analyzing them, hoping to gain insight into what I was undergoing and evolving into. As I spent more time in the mortal realm, my emotions grew richer and fuller, spanning the breadth of human passion. This was my actual birth. It was like the birth of overwhelming sadness when a mother lost her child, when a partner lost his other half, or when death struck cruelly at another's hands. The simple joy of a first kiss, the wind ruffling the air. Before then, my feelings were clinical, but over centuries, I slowly lost my impartiality. This is when I, Dorian, was reborn into the image of the mortals I'd watched for the breadth of their development. I wanted to ensure I wouldn't be a threat to Maya in a fit of uncontrollable rage, like that of an emotional toddler. My power often spiked uncontrollably due to my developing emotions, so I turned away from her warmth to analyze my personal, physical, and emotional coming of age. Only when I deemed myself safe, with a modicum of self-control, would I allow myself to return to her. But it was difficult. My psychological deterioration suddenly accelerated, as if the universe was telling me my time of reflection was over. I believed that over the centuries, as I watched over her right up until our last fateful meeting, where we physically touched for the first time, invisible bonds had developed, and those strands were pulling me back to her. Yet fear kept me away. I was deathly afraid of causing harm to the one being that brought me solace. As I looked upon these humans with newfound emotional understanding, I realized confusion was a part of the human makeup. Confusion created curiosity, and with their minds they created awe-inspiring moments that made me admire this fledgling race. Not only was my mind changing as I experienced their emotions, but I was also physically changing. I felt my immortality ebbing away, leaving behind weak flesh and blood, vulnerable like the people who obliviously walked by me. Eventually, there was an unsettling itching under my skin and chaos in my mind. I don't know why, but I knew it was time to return to Kandar. Whether I was ready or not, it was time to face an uncertain future, whatever it may bring. And that lay in the depth of those violet eyes that had captivated me so many centuries ago. I turned from the oblivious human realm and looked to the stars where I knew the Elgorian bridge resided. Unsheathing my wings, I took flight. Only the slightest etheric disturbance was noticeable as I left Earth behind. Unbeknownst to me, tapping into my powers attracted the notice of something else, and it tracked my movement in space with focused interest. When I breached the Elgorian bridge's murky depths and emerged on the other side of the portal, Elder Woman Kashia was waiting for me, as if she knew the exact timing of my arrival. Maya stood beside her, her gaze fixed on me as I landed on the bridge, checking for any signs of damage. As her gaze raked over my physical form, her powers honed in on my emotional well-being. Concern was etched on her face, while her aunt was reserved and blank, her emotions and thoughts completely shielded from my probing mind, a testament to this diminutive woman's power. The woman's eyes pierced mine, holding my gaze with a warning in their black depths, giving me a glimpse of the power that could possibly bring me to my knees. I was surprised by her strength and in awe at the control she wielded over her emotions. I could only detect small wisps of escaped energy from this ancient mortal. I looked at Maya's face and knew I had to describe the vastness of my existence to her in her language, one she was comfortable with, but how? She was not ready to communicate like her elders or my kind, so I thought of different ways to explain our existence, but I was afraid of how she would receive my truth. It was the first time I thought about what wording to choose. Although my existence was billions of years old, my true understanding of mortal life began when I physically evolved, becoming more akin to the flesh and blood of those found here on Kandar. I had never had to explain my actions to another. This was all new to me. So here, in this beautiful, magical place, I spoke of my life to two mortals in their tongue for the first time in my long existence. I looked at their intense expressions, patiently waiting for me to proceed. I took a deep breath, feeling my chest expand, and began my tale.